Hi everybody, that's me. Today I'm going to walk you through the cutting of the cores for the Bugatti 100p project I'm working on. So right now you can see me slicing through my very first cut on these large panels. It's by far the widest panels I've ever done. And not to mention the root and tip chords are drastically different in size, and it's really difficult to do. You can see the wire snaps through, but yep, it's a good first cut. It's not great, but it'll work for the project that we're doing. So here we've taken the panel, flipped it back over, and I'm using different templates again. This cut unfortunately didn't turn out nearly as good as the other one, and I'll explain why. As you can see, I've got my table set up here, and I'm kind of leaning over, and it's difficult to go back and forth looking from one side to the other. And as you see that the hot wire, I just cut right through that tip too quickly, and the weight from the jar and the masonry level just compressed it down. So the cut is okay, it's recoverable, but the up close I did here, you can see how it's really wavy and bumpy, but they're positive bumps, so I can sand those down and not have too much difficulty recovering the panel. I think that in the future I've learned a lot of lessons. I need to do smaller panels with a taper like this. But moving on to the next panel, I think I did a little bit better on this one. I was getting the groove of how to cut this size panel before. Like I said before, I've never cut a panel like this. So you can see how I changed my weight setup. I clearly learned my lesson. I need to distribute the weight a little bit more, and I moved the mason level down so that it's not directly over top of that thin part of the foam. And you can see that the wire just barely skims underneath that very top area, and this time it's going much better. Not sure why that last cut didn't turn out nearly the way I wanted it to, but in the end I got a pretty good cut on this one. I was pretty happy with this one. You can see it's got a nice sheen to it, looks good. And then moving on to this last cut, just in anticipation, you can look for where the wire on the left side, it got to that really thin spot and then it just melted through. I had my hot wire set a little bit too hot and it just melted clean through and got hung up. So that's really the only flaw on this cut, but again, I can easily sand that out. As you can see, each and every one of these cuts, I just couldn't get the timing right with that 14.75 inch long root and 3.75 inch tip. And it's just a massive panel, but there we go. Looks great.